Good afternoon. I want to start off with how much I appreciate the work that General Callahan and his team at the Rhode Island National Guard Bureau. As the governor outlined, we have formed a very close working relationship with the Guard, and their operational and logistic expertise will pay off for students and families when we head back to school in a few weeks. So we're extremely grateful. Adding the National Guard to the team and support that we have had from Dr. Alexander Scott and Rido's staff is making Rhode Island come back to school team the best in the country, and I'm proud to be part of it. The Educational Operational Center that will be hosted at RIDE offices is an unprecedented step. You have not heard that in any other education system. It has two powerful benefits. First, it will give us a dedicated, responsive group of professionals who can focus on individual schools and districts when they need support when we get back to school. Second, this will allow the rest of our staff to continue to focus on our core responsibility and mission, ensuring that our students are learning, that our professional development is first rate, and that we're pushing our kids to make the real academic progress this year. We keep talking about kids going back to school, but it's what happens when they go back to school. When COVID hit us last spring, we made the most that we could of a challenging situation. As the governor mentioned, for certain groups of students, distance learning was a real challenge. We need to focus on getting those kids back into the classroom as soon as it is safe to do so. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about these vulnerable groups of students. If you recall, we were national leaders in putting it up, really operationalizing distance learning. However, that does not mean that it worked for everyone. That's not what that meant. Other states just threw in the towel. We did not. We put it in place in a week. But that does not, I want to repeat that, that does not mean that it worked for everyone, and we still have not measured what it looks like. So we need to focus on getting those kids back. First, for many students that didn't have computers or Wi-Fi to get ready, we worked really hard to get there. We went from districts being at 50 to 95%. However, we noted, not just in Rhode Island, but in America, that there's a digital divide. We got the Wi-Fi, we got the computers, now we have to update the computers. So we bridged some of that gap, but we haven't closed it completely, or we haven't bridged it completely. There are families that can go out and buy the technology, but not everyone can do that. Second, not everyone can work from home, and this poses risks for children and students. Many families in our state are faced with the choice between putting food on the table and helping kids stay engaged in distance learning. There's no right answer for this. There are only wrong answers. Stay home and quit working or support your child. This is a very difficult situation. This is where we are right now. We're grappling with the reality of different families. So I want us to think about that. And a lot of people say, well, school is not a babysitting entity. No, it's not. It's an educational entity. And that means who supports the kids. Next, many multilingual learners struggle to make progress via online platform. You have to learn a new language, new procedures, and do it all online. Another obstacle in the learning, and a population that was at single digits to begin with. Finally, our differently able students need personal attention to stay engaged. Many of those students require hands-on, concrete instruction to help them with their specific needs. Teachers did their best, but we heard time and time again from parents of students that are differently abled. This is not working for my child. My child is not making the progress. And for parents that have students that have special needs, every second counts. Public health and safety drive all of our decisions. We know that. But we need to do everything we can to return to the classroom. If the public health situation allows, the approach that we're talking about and detailed metrics to our supports of our districts in the operations center So much more. We need to build on what it looks like to be in the classroom safely. The governor talked about it. What does it look like to be safe? It's not just health, but mental health. So I want us to be very clear when we talk about the plans, we're also talking about the instructional plans. What does it look like? And your child doesn't have to have a special need for you to want your child to be into the school building. I'd like to take a quick mention of 2 districts that are doing a phenomenal job as they are planning to reopen. South Kingstown is focusing on what they're calling power standards to really focus in on key content areas. We should be looking at the standards. And Newport has a great emphasis on using data early on to help focus on the key areas of student growth. I will note that both districts have an emphasis on social-emotional learning. You heard it from the governor, which is critical with the anxiety and the change that our students have experienced. So we know that there's a lot of work to be done. We know that we've had challenges. We know that we've learned a lot through distance learning. But we also saw our attendance be the highest and then drop off. We saw it. So we really have to do everything that we can to make sure that we're in the right place educationally.